So welcome back to the Brand Central podcast. This is actually, I've just decided right now actually that this is going to be season 2. We've not recorded for a while. We've got a brilliant guest who I'm going to introduce in a minute to begin with. But what we're going to do straight away before we even introduce you is going to go into some quick fire questions to put you on the spot.
Let's go.
Okay, question 1. Where is your favourite place to relax in Liverpool?
Favourite place to relax in Liverpool is wherever I am with my little lad. I don't care where that is.
Okay.
Being with the right people.
Brilliant. And what does the word brand mean to you?
Brand means lots of things. It's just an identity, but something in particular that I know people sleep on is colour. I think colour's important in brand.
Hence lime green.
Yes.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Final question. What is your favourite brand to come out of Liverpool, born and bred Liverpool, in the last 5 to 10 years that isn't your own?
If I don't know when it come up, but it's more talking to Home Bargains. That's got to be the best, one of the best in the UK, just because he grew up in Old Swan, where I grew up, and I know a story about him working in his little corner shop till 9 o'clock of a night on a Friday night. My nan said she used to go in there all the time and speak to him, and said he's earned his stripes.
Okay, brilliant. They're the types of stories that there's not a lot of them around, is there, where you go from sort of, there's a lot of people that, I mean, depends how you decipher success, but there's a lot of good stories, but to make it international big or national big, then there's not many of them around, is there?
No one to last as well.
Yeah.
Like most businesses, look at restaurants. There's not many restaurants that make it to 10 years. You look at certain ones and you're like, have they made it to 10 years? And it's just interesting to start studying them.
Yeah, 10 years is a long time, isn't it? In business, I don't know what the exact stat is, but there's a crazy stat about businesses and how long they last, isn't there?
Yeah,
it's
something like
most of them fail.
I think it's only 3% last 10 years, because I remember posting it when we turned 10 years, and now we are 18 years now in business. 18 years. And people are like, oh, you've just come about little overnight success. Yeah, I've done all them hours.
I want to dig into that. That's a really good point. Yeah, we'll come back and dig into that. So, Jay, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Obviously, this is a real cool one for me, because there's a lot of guests that we've had on that I've already known, or known a fair bit about, or had a relationship with before coming on the podcast, and we don't. We've obviously chatted back and forth for a while trying to get the podcast to happen, haven't we? I feel like I've seen a lot of your content, so it's one of them where I feel like I know you, even though this is the first time I've actually met you. But the reason why I like that is because I'm learning as much as everyone else is who's going to be watching this, which I'm really excited about. So with these podcasts, as I mentioned to you off camera then, the podcast is about the now. So we do talk a lot about branding, whether it's personal branding, building the brand of a business. But I feel like a lot of podcasts that we consume are all in hindsight, which is what I've just explained. So it's always, this is how I did this, or this was the best way to do this. And all the content that we're all consuming through podcasts and long form content seems perfect. It seems like it was a breeze, or there was a perfect silver bullet that made this happen. And we know that isn't the way business works. So what I want to do with these podcasts, these episodes, is to get what's working right now and what's not working right now. Probably more so what's not working right now. Like, what are the struggles that we've had? So that anybody that's watching the podcast that is either building a brand or wants to build a brand are actually getting real actionable information. Yeah, I feel like that fits you perfectly.
Yeah, like live information. I get that about who I am now. Some people know about my story, some people don't. Happy to talk about everything going on in my life at this moment in time. No limits. First question for you though, just you mentioned green and branding. Yeah. I noticed that there's some sort of green candle here, and you've got a green monster. Is that intentional or not?
I'm going to say it is. It absolutely wasn't. But you could say that the content I consumed from you has made my decision subconsciously, because I had 3 monsters in there. They're all different colours, and for whatever reason I chose the green one. So maybe we'll put that down to powerful branding.
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
Yeah, okay. I'll take that.
I'll think about that next time. That was a good one. This will be the thumbnail. I have a monster, and I do 2 a day at the minute. It's a bit heavy. Okay, Jay, who are you?
Who am I? I'm just Jay, a lad who grew up in Old Swan on a council estate. Decided I was going to go and do something with my life, no matter what it took, whether it took me 2 years, 20 years, whatever it took. And I was just like, I just want better things. From where I was, I just decided I want better things. It never really left me that. Ended up with me coming up with some values of my own, of always looking to get better, always looking to add more fun. And third, and probably the most crucial one, is always doing what I say I'm going to do. I'm a very my word is as good as a contract.
I remember because we had this podcast booked in initially, didn't we?
Yeah.
And like life happens, business happens, whatever, and we couldn't make it happen. I remember how like hell-bent you was on like, I'm so sorry, like I promise you if I agreed to something, I'm going to do it. And I remember you talking about that.
That's literally my life, and I just don't, even if I don't want to do something, I don't cancel it. Like, I just don't.
Yeah, cool. Jack, before we carry on, I'm just going can you just straighten your mic up a little bit? Yeah. Just in case it's not as direct. Is that all right? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, cool. Obviously right now, Solo Cars is the business that's in front of us. I want to know what happened before that. Like, have you always been selling cars? What have you done before that? Was there a journey? What was the bit that I feel like maybe it's just me or people don't know about before Solo Cars came around?
So before Solo, I don't really know why, but I was selling things in school, whether it be sweets, whether it be was like buying me mates sandwiches off them for 50p and selling them to someone else for £1. I don't really know how I got into that. Even like, do you remember the older ones listening to this podcast will remember the compilation CDs you used to be able to make yourself by downloading the music. I used to like ask
you
my mates,
burn it onto the disc.
Yeah, pick 10, 15 songs, I'll go and find them. I'll put them on it for you, it costs £2. And I'd just be on them every week, like earning a little bit here, a little bit there. Through that journey, some of the people I got close to were involved in getting signed football memorabilia.
Okay.
I never really, I kind of seen that they were doing well out of it, and they actually asked me to come and do it with them. So I did, and got into like buying and selling signed football things, whether it be like Liverpool shirts, Everton shirts, other teams that would be visiting Liverpool. And then be selling them on eBay, kind of earning a good living out of it, to be honest. A lot more disposable income then than I've probably got now, to be honest. But
that's the story of any business owner, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, that's like a 15, 16, 17-year-old kid. I was probably learning so much more about the world than I ever thought I was at the time. And that was standing me in good stead to then move forward into Solo.
Brilliant. So did you sell cars before Solo, or did you go straight on your own? So
no,
you used to that. You clearly had that entrepreneurial spirit. So was that
my dad sold cars on a smaller scale.
Okay.
And I was always badgering. And to be honest, my dad's quite a he doesn't spend a lot of money, my dad. So I was kind of like looking at his lifestyle, thinking, I don't want to sell cars. It doesn't look like there's any money in it.
Doesn't look very glamorous.
And then I realised, no, that's just my dad. He's the kind of guy, if his cup of tea goes cold, he'll just put it in the microwave and warm it up rather than make a new one. That's like a different generation, isn't it, of people. But then I was just badgering him, and then the site he was on previously come to an end. And we invited me in and let me do a little bit at the start, and then before he had all like the bits about, he knew everything about cars. I didn't. I just had the raw ambition that I wanted to like plow into it. So it was in a lucky position there, really, I suppose.
So you said off cam, 18 years.
Yes.
So see, and this is what I want to get into, and I know we're probably even skipping years here, but that really piqued an interest in me because the whole overnight success thing floats around the likes of social media and things all the time, doesn't it? And obviously that comes from engagement and brand awareness and things. And you've obviously, maybe, I don't know, you maybe be a bit more accurate on time frame. I would say I've been aware for you maybe the past 12 months, maybe, probably more so. And that's obviously come from drumming up interest, engagement, awareness online. But there's another 17 years that I don't know about.
Yeah.
And have you had a lot of that sort of overnight success? Those comments and things?
I would say like the first, it would be 12 or 13 years. I was just selling cars. We were doing okay, doing well, building things. COVID was a big change because I think when the world closed its doors and didn't want to know and was scared of everything, I was like, well, that kind of means I've got nothing to lose. And I kind of quite seen that everyone's swimming naked and no one's got a clue what they're doing. So I was like, if no one's got a clue, well, neither have I. So I'm just going to go and be at the top of that then. And it changed me a lot inside. I think it coincided with my little lad, growing up. He was, 1, 2. And I learned a lot about life and just become so much more of a man in those COVID years. But really, I just realised that no one's got a clue what they're doing. And, I was prepared to take the gambles there. And I still am today that other people don't easily take.
Yeah. Would you say, when I speak to business owners and founders and things, there's always a conversation around risk factor. I feel like that plays a big part in how you can actually turn an idea and actually make it happen, bring it to life. Would you say you've got quite high risk tolerance?
Very, very high. It depends on if you ask me to blindly roll the dice, I'm not going to roll the dice. But if it involves my input and whether I can make something win, I'll back myself every single time.
So it's risk tolerance backed by you. You know that you'll make something happen.
Yeah, and it's funny because any other podcast I've ever done, this is a little bit different because as you've just said there, my profile has risen significantly over the last 12 months or over the last 2 years. And I'll tell you the biggest driver of that it's not really clicked to me until sat here today, is probably splitting up with my ex.
Okay.
That was probably a big factor, and I probably had more time to plough and more determination to plough into myself and into business and whatever else. And this is actually the result of it.
Okay. And what timeline-wise, when we're looking at?
That was over 2 years ago now.
Okay. So it fits perfectly with the awareness piece, doesn't it? So if you don't mind, to dig in a little bit to that in like personal development.
Yes,
there's a huge part of what I like doing every day that is about personal development. I'm not the most perfect human being, far from it, but I would say I'm very self-aware in who I am now. Probably never used to be. Who I am, what I'm not, what I am, what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, and I'm very open to learning every day. It seems like straight away I feel like that's kind of fits in with you as well. Where would you say that personal development has come into all of this? So if you look at let's look at a 10-year business journey.
Yeah.
How do you think personal development for you as a human on this earth has played into business success?
So I think there was a point where the sales team needed expanding from being me to a team of people. That involved employing staff to do what I was doing. That was the first release of the business, releasing it into someone else's control. Probably didn't get that right at the start. That was probably around 10 years ago. Didn't get that journey right. And there was a lot of growth there in figuring out how do I work with people to get what I want out of them. In the times where I was getting it wrong, I struggled with it. It was, felt like a big dark cloud over me at times. I remember being on certain holidays and thinking there was a dark cloud over me.
Yeah.
I leaned into the tools that were not so common 10 years ago in terms of meditation. And I've meditated for it's probably 10 years now, but literally almost every single day for those 10 years. That's helped me on the open my eyes to the world and see what's available. And then everyone knows that, if you get in the gym or you go on a run or whatever, you feel better, don't you? Yeah. I started seeing the results of the plowing energy into myself. And kind of I've grew that to the guy today who tracks his whole habits every single day. Yeah. Just to spot patterns and be aware. And it's funny that you say you're quite self-aware, because I think what's really important with self-awareness though is also self-acceptance. And it sounded like a little bit like you've accepted what you can and can't do. And I'm the same. I know what I'm not good at, and I'm like, listen, I'm just not good at it. That's me. Yeah. I can't. I'm not here to hide from it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't feel like I don't think I've ever necessarily, from a business standpoint, I've never really struggled with letting go and allow. Maybe in the first year or two I might have, but early on I realised that you had to sort of step out of your own way, and that's the reason why we grew a team so quickly, because I knew that I wasn't the best at everything. Like Liam, for example, this business wouldn't be anywhere near what it is today without him, because I'm the operational mindset and the characteristics that come with an operator. I'm not that. I'm the creative. I like creating opportunity. Once the opportunity is created, I need someone to actually make something of it. And that's Liam's job. That's not my job. I realised that very early. There's also, from a creative standpoint, like Jay and Joe are sat there now, the better creative designers than I've ever been. So I realised that quite early. But one thing that I wanted to always do is understand it first. So that's where the self-awareness piece came from. It's understanding, all right, I might not be good at it, but I need to understand the bones of it, so that if that person that I bring on needs support, then I'm there to support them. It's not necessarily the skill or the craft itself, it's the foundation of how you get the best out of that person. So what you said there with sales teams and stuff, there's a certain understanding where you've got to go, all right, I understand it to that point, now I feel like I'm in a good position to let go. So I understand the whole process of it,
Yeah, I think that's important to understand the fundamentals of anything. I'm like, I don't need to have the last say in things or whatever, but I definitely want to understand what's going on so I can enlighten people to what my 18 years of experience might have to offer.
So when it comes to so you mentioned meditation and like breath work and everything's been a part of my life probably only for maybe a year, 18 months, 2 years, maybe something like that. And I know exactly what you're talking about, that sort of like enlightenment of just the small good things in life that are actually the things that make you happy rather than the bigger things. What would you say are the biggest realizations that you got from maybe meditation or just that personal development journey. So if we go back to that 10-year period again, what would you say are your biggest realizations that you think you've had in life and business?
So first of all, like with meditation and breath work, whether you're talking 5 or 10 minutes of it, it's crazy how you can change your mind and relax your nervous system by just spending 10 minutes on yourself. That's insane. That surprises me even to today how different I feel after 10 minutes of it. I don't really know what else I've learned other than just the power of it. The breathwork in particular, I'd done a breathwork course coincidentally just over 2 years ago, and I was so shocked by what it could do for me. I needed it at the time, going through a transition in my life. That quite quickly led me into a hiking group that quite quickly led me on lots of hikes and ended up with me at Mount Everest Base Camp in November.
I saw the pictures from it.
That was a great journey of just learning all about myself, to be honest, again. And I'm still doing that today. I'm still learning about myself every single day, about what I can and can't do.
That's it. I think that's an important piece, isn't it? I remember when I would say maybe there's some parallels in the journey that you've been on, the journey I've been on, for me only maybe the past 2 years, like I mentioned. And I remember early on getting really frustrated that I couldn't figure it out. And you look at identity and all these things that you're trying to figure out, and you realize what you've maybe not had in your toolbox for the past couple of years. And then I remember just wanting to work it out, like as if it was going to be ticked off one day, and I was going to know who I am or know exactly what drives me and stuff. And I realized it was actually a conversation with Scano, and he said you're just always learning. And I was at the time I was like, but I need to figure it out. I want to know who I am. I want it so that I can move on in life. Almost like I've done that now. Let's move on, and I can put it into practice. And you never do. Every single day you're learning, finding out things about yourself, other people, and I've learned to enjoy that now. But at first I found it quite difficult. Yeah,
living in the moment. Like I still haven't figured out how do I be a good dad, a good business owner, a good colleague, a good friend, have a social life, find a new partner. How do I do all them things and be in bed by 9 o'clock? It's not possible.
Yeah, it's difficult.
You can't have everything, and everything you do gain comes at usually a loss of something else.
Yeah.
And that's no different than working in the gym, trying to look how I want, but then I can't because I've got to work here or I've got to there or I want to attend this social event. It's really hard to do everything, isn't it? Like you can't do everything.
So when you mentioned earlier about going through a breakup and how that was like a big transition period, take us back to that. How, I mean, be as open as you want to be. It's put anything on the table, whatever you'd like. How has that played a part in the past 2 years? Because obviously you mentioned going back 10 years of meditation and self-development, all these things. What's the last 2 years looked like in particular?
So again, as you can imagine, the first bit of that was really difficult. I'd a bit lost, didn't know what I was doing. I knew I was doing the right thing, but didn't quite know what's next. How this is going to look, like you said, trying to figure it out. I've got a business coach and I was going to see him every week saying, I just want to be a good person. And after so long, it was a couple of months, he stopped me and said, Jay, when are you going to stop saying this? You are a good person. Stop saying you just want to be a good person. You are a good person. And something clicked in me, and over time you realise you meet new people, or you have different experiences, and I realised that, okay, this was all meant to happen this way. I think lots of the different communities across Liverpool, even people like Scano and all the digital detoxes he does and the people he's introduced me to, I didn't realise from having, I was in a relationship for 19 years, this was a very long time, it was the only relationship I knew. And I created a bubble, moved out to West Kirby, great life, and everything. But then when I've come away from that, I realised, hang on, the bubble's gone and there's nothing there. And it left a hole until I figured it all out. And actually, it's like tenfolded the opposite way, where I can't believe how many good people there are in the city that just want to help each other out, look after each other, support each other's businesses. I want to support their businesses. I want to give back. I want to be grateful. I mean, I don't know if you've seen, we threw a big party last week.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
That was like, I think there was over 200 people there, all free food, free drink, free entertainment for everyone, just to get together. And people are like, why are you doing that? What are you going to get out of it? And I'm like, I just want to give back. I just want it to be a good space with good people. And I suppose it just shows that I really just appreciate the people in my life at this exact moment in time.
So it's almost like the world's opened up, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you're seeing it as completely different to how you've lived your life for, 19 years or whatever it was before.
Yeah, and I didn't really ever think it would look like this, if I'm being honest. But I'm quite grateful of it. And I think, there's just so many good people out there. I can't believe how many there are. I'm really surprised, to be honest.
So it sounds like this is the beauty of business that I'd like to make sure comes across in these episodes, because I think a lot of people overlook how interlocked personal and business is, and how they sort of feed each other, whether it's becoming a better version of yourself and how that then, you know, unleashes you to build a better business, or you build a business and then therefore it allows you to give back. Like, all these things are so interlinked and it works both ways. So it sounds like you've been on that journey of bettering yourself, which is better business. Would you say that's probably...
just because I've become more of a man. Again, them COVID years probably taught me to stand up with my shoulders taller. And not that I wasn't a man, but I've become even more of a man, even more integrity. Not a bad...
I was just going to say, what would you... So you mentioned about being a man. So you mentioned two things. You mentioned about being a better person. You were saying to your business coach you want to be a better person. And you mentioned being a better man. What does that mean to you? Integrity, honesty, just, you know, saying things as they are. And sometimes that's like delivering hard conversations. Sometimes you've got to tell people, like, I've had an employee last week that I've had to get rid of. And I feel like reaching back out to him and saying, mate, let me sort your life out for you. You're in a bit of a mess here. You need to listen to me. But then that's me wanting to give too much and wanting to be too nice, and probably they've got to want it a little bit. They're your boundaries that you mentioned, isn't it? They've got to want it a little bit, but the gut in me really want. It wouldn't surprise me if I reach out to them and say, like, just to throw them a bone, and I'll know I've through that then. More just, it's integrity and honesty, and just looking to do the right thing, and also living your life as well, though, not like worrying too much about tomorrow. And, you know, this, as you said before, where's my happy place? There's places I can sit with the right people, and I actually do sit there and look and go, what a good life this actually is. So it's not necessarily a place, it's more the people or the environment around you. Yeah, sometimes that is the happiness. Sometimes that's in work, sometimes that's on holiday, sometimes that's having a beer with my mates. On your own, with people, without people, whatever. Yeah, totally different scenarios all the time. I think just to know that, you know, luckily I am always getting better. Yeah. Business is always getting better. The people around me I'm attracting better people around me. I'm lucky to be in that situation. I don't ever feel like I can take my foot off the gas, because I feel like I get complacent. That's it. We were talking about that earlier, wasn't we? About like, I guess it comes down to the predictability of business, doesn't it? And like building relationships and things. And I think that the reason why I'm saying this is, you mentioned there about taking your foot off the gas. This is something that I probably learned over the years. I think it's useful for any business owner, really. I feel like I said before, we sort of operate for what we need in the now, don't we? So if it's more sales, more money, more leads, whatever we need to build the perfect business, we tend to build, right, we need that now. And then you sort of achieve it by taking certain action steps. And then you go, I've achieved it now. And then a month later, you're in the same position again, because you took your foot off the gas. And I feel like that's a big part, but it also applies to personal life as well, doesn't it? Like, so what's important, like the people closest to me and my team, and they've asked me about work, they say, like, people say, oh, your event looked amazing, you know, you're absolutely smashing it and whatever else. They're all surface level things, right? They're that brand and that publicity. We are definitely doing well in that department. I'm doing well putting myself out there, creating good content, the personal branding bit. Yeah. I don't want to be an influencer or to be paid to turn up at restaurants or whatever. I won't be doing that. But internally at Solo, the team know I've not hit the button yet, and the button is the go button. This hasn't even started yet. I'm waiting for things like the divorce to be finalised over the next couple of weeks. Well, hopefully over the next couple of weeks. That journey takes forever. It will be painful, financially be painful, but it will fire me up inside so much. And I've briefed the team, took on extra mechanics, extra valeter over the last year, getting an extra sales exec, set the whole team up with the agenda. I'm hitting this button and we need to be ready to go. Yeah. And we're going to go hard. And give me an insight into what that means. What does the outcome of that look like for business? So we've only been having 80 odd cars in stock at any given moment in time. That'll be 120 and we will be turning them over like there's no tomorrow. I'll be absolutely ruthless buying anything with 4 wheels that's a good car. And the team are up for it. The team are ready for it. I switched them all over to a new bonus structure where they're all... everyone, even the valeters and everyone, the accounts team, they all get a bonus for every car we sell, not just the sales execs, just to set the whole team up ready to sell lots of cars. But you see all the publicity and the awareness now. And don't get me wrong, the online content could slow slightly, but it'll be because I'm in that business and it is doing what it needs to do on paper. But I guess like the awareness is what gives you the opportunity as well, isn't it? Yeah. That's kind of what I want to drill into next. So for the business and brand lovers that are going to be listening and watching this, I feel like we've got a real good base there of like who you are as a person and the journey you've been on. I'm sure we could do another episode on personal life, probably. Like you said off camera, didn't you? Like you've talked about some of your upbringing and things in the past. What I want to look at now is, we'll use that 2-year stretch again, the last 2 years, where I feel like a lot of people, including me, have become aware of yourself and Solo Cars. I want to go into like the actual branding side of it now, and the personal brand, the business brand, all these things. We operate in a space, our business as an agency is we're pretty split now between working on personal brands, building personal brands, and building what we call a logo brand or like a business brand, however you want to call it. So you've got Solo Cars that has its own identity in its own right, and then you've got yourself that is the leader of Solo Cars. What decision did you have to come to, or was there a time where you had to make a decision and go, I'm going to put myself out there more? Was that something that was in you? Is it something where you're about to come to terms with having to do that, or did it just naturally happen?
I think that probably happened 2 years ago now. And I think I just seen some success with certain videos. I think in particular, there was a point where car prices crashed over a 6-week period. It was like horrific. Most cars lost like 10 or 20% of the value. And I'd done a video about that, and it done really well online. And I was thinking, why has my face done really well online? And I realised that, okay, there is a market out there to post these things. And since then, it probably just gave me the confidence to post more. Again, surrounding myself with better people that will then give me a pat on the back, say, hey, see what you did over there. That was quite good, that one, you know. Or this one, you should have mentioned this a little bit more, and some honest feedback. It's give me the power to just, or the confidence just to post more and post as much as I can. Same with, you spoke about like Mark Waldron and his Move community.
Yeah.
Like when I joined this community 2 years ago, he didn't post videos online like he does today. That was not a thing. That's only been in the last year or so. I think together, we've probably spoke a lot, me and Mark, about posting content online, about how you just whip your phone out and film and post and no one cares.
That real life content.
Yeah, no one cares. No one's really looking that hard to care. And if they do care in a negative way, then they're not the right people anyway, so it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
So I think just posting some really good content. And again, some of the content I posted was not car specific. It was just, well, to be honest, it was local content. It was about local businesses with local people where like they've got massive followings. The local, you know, a lot of local businesses have got thousands of followers that want to know all about them. So working with the local businesses was important to me. But one of the bigger decisions in that journey was probably only 9-10 months ago. I deleted my personal Instagram account because I got to the point where I was like, well, what do I post on my personal account? What do I post on the work account? And I was getting all a bit lost. And I was getting a bit lost, should I say.
You just had to start thinking about it more, which...
And I didn't know, I was like, do I put some, like, if I'm saying a restaurant's good, do I put it on this account or this account? And I was like, but I don't want to be an influencer, so why would I put it on a personal account? And it's like, well, why have I even got a personal account? I don't want a personal account. So I got rid of the personal account and posted a bit of a hybrid on the work account. That was quite an important decision for me. And then I think when I'd done that, I'd done a couple more videos. You know, it must have been, I don't know if it was like June last year or whatever. I'd done a couple more videos and I was like, okay, these are getting even more traction now. More traction than I'm getting off my sponsored adverts. So what I'd done then was, we were spending around $3,000 a month on sponsored adverts on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok. Just got rid of it all in September. I thought, I'm just going to post
just all organic.
More content, more. I just put myself out there more, talk about more things, come up with more ideas. And the accounts reached in the last 30 days on our Instagram has never, ever since doing that been as low as it was with the sponsored adverts. Because I think the sponsored adverts were really good, but they were very repetitive because it was really good at targeting a certain group of people. And now it's just more fun content. It's, you know, hopefully it's interesting. Some people get a little bit of value out of it. And that's kind of what we're going to be doing moving forward. Yeah,
brilliant. That fits in, to be honest, that fits in as proof of what our whole values are around for our business, really. So we obviously, like I said, mentioned before, we do organic, we do paid media, we do all kinds of stuff. And we get a lot of businesses that just want to go all in on ads. And in reality, they've got no foundation. They've got the brand, they haven't got the brand awareness. They haven't got the organic content to even look at what content's working to begin with, to even understand what people want to see. And you haven't laid the foundations. And it sounds like you were in ads and they were doing okay, but actually the foundations of the organic content is actually what give you the brand awareness and to find the actual pockets of audiences that you want to serve.
But when you speak about foundations there, it wouldn't be right not to talk about a friend of mine, Jamie Ray at Ways to Wow. And I started working with him. I'm not sure if you're aware of the stuff he does. But he was a, don't know his title now, some sort of director at a restaurant group in Tenerife, managing 360 staff, 80 managers, and he was like unbelievable at his job in Tenerife. When COVID hit, he came home and started doing like culture training at home, mainly again for hospitality, but then I was his first non-hospitality client. And he probably gave us the foundations early on to know who we were. We didn't doubt who we were.
So your values as a brand.
Yeah. We'd figured out through workshops during COVID who we actually were. And it's like, you know, I challenge any creator or anyone with a brand that's got a presence online now. Can you tell me, like I said before, what colour do you use the most? What is your colour? And if you don't know what your colour is, like you've just failed at the first spot, you need to pick a colour. And also, what do you do? You ask a lot of people what they do. And they're like, well, what it is this, or it's this, and I do a bit, and it's like, okay, we sell, I don't know if you've seen our slogan, we sell boss cars for less money, right? It is interpretational, because what's a boss car and what's less money? You can decide yourself. But people generally get the gist of what we do by just telling them that. It's hard hitting, and we don't doubt what we do. If anyone ever asks me, that's what we do, simple as that.
No, I agree with that. I was actually at a mastermind on Tuesday over in Belfast, and we spent an hour on this. And there was multiple businesses in the room that were doing 7, even 8 figures, some of them. And you asked them what they did, and they either fluffed it in 3 seconds, or they spent 45 seconds trying to tell you. And by the end of it, you were like, don't know what you just said. Doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's that. And what we were talking about was that when you're talking about slogan, your slogan straight to the point, and it's clearly built for a local audience. It's a very Liverpool statement, right? And what we were talking about, this for any business owners out there, if you're going to put into practice what Jay just said, there's a balance that you got to find between being too general, so that it doesn't mean anything, but then being too specific to that it's too long. So how can you actually explain, you know, within 5 to 10 seconds actually what you do? And that's the battle, but it doesn't have to make a difference. We did it with the first brand that we built, Graphit. We was the fitness brand specialist. That was it. We're the fitness brand specialist. If you want anything to do brand related, you come to the fitness brand specialist. And the amount of business that's jumped up over the years just by that being the slogan that you can search into Instagram, for example, brand specialist or the fitness brand specialist. We niche down. And there is so much value in what you just said in that statement. But obviously, like you said, you've got to do the values first. To be able to come up with some statement of what you actually do, what you stand for, you've got to go through the values first and understand who you are.
And it's funny that you said it, like R1 selling boss cars. It's a very local statement, very, very local, to be honest. But again, back to the philosophy of ditching the sponsored adverts and posting more personal content. I kind of thought about the maths, and I was like, okay, so we need to sell, when I hit my go button, the goal that the team know is to sell 90 cars a month. If I do that 3 months on the run, I need to pick a celebration for myself, to be honest. Just something to look forward to enjoy the moment. 90 cars a month, that's fine. Let's just say that's 1,000 cars a year. People change the car every 2.5 years. So we need 2,500 loyal customers. We're in a city full of 500,000 people. If I can't get that, I'm doing something wrong. So I was like, we don't need Janet down in Cornwall or Dave up in Edinburgh. We don't need those customers. Great, they still come because the cars are cheap, so they do still come. We get loads of distant sales. But it's the core Liverpool base we want. And also, because of the way in Liverpool in particular, where travels fast, everyone does live heavily on recommendations, probably keeps us more accountable. We have to be more transparent. We have to have good heart. We have to have integrity, trust, all the things that I said there. I want to build anyway. It'll keep us self-accountable.
Well, you've probably seen that the values that you are as a business and your team as people and you as a person, it's the values that are probably in they're very strong values in Liverpool in general, I would say. I'm not from Liverpool myself, but obviously spend a lot of time here. Them values are very much within a lot of people that live in Liverpool, that are from Liverpool. So then it resonates with them, doesn't it? It connects with them, and you feel like one of them.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the trust. Yeah, it makes sense. It's good when you break it down, the mechanics of just that green Solo Cars fella that you see on socials. What I'm trying to do here is strip it back. And for anybody that is watching this or listening to this because they've seen your face somewhere, I want what we're showing them here is, all right, well, if you take the surface level stuff up, like you said, like the events and going to the restaurants and all these things, there's structure behind this. You're not just, yes, you are just picking yes, you are. Yeah, you're like, yeah, they're supposed to be.
Well, to be honest, I was just thinking that just when I've got in my car this morning, I looked at my phone and a video I posted yesterday, and someone had wrote like something like, you filming yourself, you look like a muppet. And but it's the, like, you can't tell that person you haven't got a clue what I'm doing. You don't even know what I'm doing. You're just listening to what I'm saying. You don't even know what I'm actually doing. And it's funny because people don't understand all that. And there's always a method to the madness. And anyone that I ever speak to about like business advice and things like that, the first thing I say to them, where's the money? And follow the money and make everything else around it really simple and straightforward. Us just selling cars, we're a finance specialist with low finance rates. That's our thing. That's how we sell cars. That's been our thing for them 18 years. It's not changed. We could sell car leases. We could sell insurance. We could sell rental cars. We don't want to do any of it. We just want to stay in our lane because our lane's good.
Yeah, I love that.
People aren't as like clear cut with that. You know, someone will own this shop and then they're looking at this industry and they're going to open one of them as well. And it's like,
yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think every entrepreneur has been guilty of it at some point. And I think you do, the entrepreneur in you wants to, when they see an opportunity, they want to capitalize on it. They get a lot of ideas and you want to do something with them because you hate having ideas, not doing anything with it because you don't feel productive or whatever. Like there's so much mental things you can go into there. But entrepreneurs generally bounce around a lot, don't they? Yeah. You see the success stories where somebody has gone from startup to bloody 2 billion or whatever and then sold it to Bonzo or like something stupid like that. But in reality, there is a lot of bouncing around that entrepreneurs do, whether it's in the head, whether it's in real life. But what you just said, there's a good point of sticking to your lane and understanding this is what you're good at, these are our values, and go and finding those people that want it. That builds a good business and a good life.
If I'd not done the 12 years before COVID kicked in, I wouldn't have been in a position to act when I could act well. And that's the importance of learning your craft. And again, people just jump around and change what they're doing so often. Pick what you do, as long as it earns a good living, you'll find opportunities, just keep building and keep growing. And one day you'll see an opportunity and you'll be like, there it is, that's my opportunity. People are too quick, just, I want a bagel shop. I'd love to go and have a shop on Lark Lane selling bagels. I think it'd be really cool, really trendy, and I don't think there's enough of them out there. But it's just not going to earn me enough.
No, it's not going to make any money at all.
No. I really want it though. Same with I'd love to have an estate agent because if you think about selling cars, we buy a car, right? It devalues straight away. It's devaluing. It's a devaluing asset. Also, we've got to pay for the asset and we've got to store the asset. They're our two biggest problems, paying for them and storing them. Otherwise, we'd be much, much bigger. Look at an estate agent, they don't pay for the asset and they don't store it either. It's online web space, you can leverage all the new AI technologies and whatever else. Build the business with the aim of selling it. Little staff and really tight processes. I'm pretty sure it's a good thing to do. I'm not in a position to do it at this very moment.
Solo estates.
Not yet.
See it coming
Not yet, but again, I've got all the plans written out.
There is, we have, me and Liam work closely with a guy called Phil. That's actually the mastermind over on Tuesday. And obviously, very successful business. He coaches, he's a business mentorship essentially. And he has always said from the start, I never understood it for years, but he always said from the start that more often than not, your first business is always your stepping stone to your next business. Not to say that you get rid of the first business, but what the message behind it that I realised, it wasn't literally throwing your first business away and starting another one. It was just, you learn so much through your first business or becoming a business owner in your own right that you start being able to make decisions and observations like you've just done. It would be really cool to own a bagel shop, but it's not going to make me any money, so you're not going to do it. But an estate agents, that sounds good. And when you get the taste for that, the learning and the education around building a business and what works and what doesn't, you are naturally going to probably move on to other businesses. And he's always been convinced, and I never understood it for years. I was like, well, I just want to build this business, all I want to do. But naturally you start looking at other things, don't you, and going, well, that's got better margin and that's got margin, and what's the industry look like for there, what's the economy look like? You start, all these things like sort of evolve, don't they? Which is what you've just done there.
I think I spoke a lot about these COVID years in my life, and I took gambles that people wouldn't normally take. I wanted to buy, to be honest, my dad's quite reserved and I like to take loads of gambles. He probably reined me in a little bit. It's probably saved me at times, but that's a time it probably hurt. I would have took more gambles. There was a point where we were one of the top buyers in the whole country of cars. And I was like, us on an industrial estate in Anfield, the top buyer in the whole country, something's wrong there. And I'd wrote down I went to a Tony Robbins seminar in 2017. Again, that was like key points in my life, somewhere around there. From that, meditating, having a kid, getting married, loads of things like clicked well at that point.
Yeah.
The Tony Robbins event, I wrote down some goals afterwards, some 5-year goals and some 10-year goals. So 2027 would be when it would want to hit me 10-year goals. I also had some retirement goals, thinking I'll retire when I'm 55, even though by the time we get there, the retirement age will probably be 70.
Yeah.
But in COVID, I hit them all of them. 5-year, 10-year retirement goals. Sounds great. And I was like, okay, this is amazing. But then I was like, okay, now I'm lost. What am I going to do now? And I went on a journey, a really interesting journey of, okay, what am I scared of? I'm scared of running marathons. So I ran some marathons. I'm scared of, what else was it? Swimming with sharks, because I had a panic attack one time going scuba diving in Australia. So I went swimming with sharks, scuba diving with sharks. I thought wing walking, where you sit on top of the plane and get flown around in the sky, that absolutely terrifies me. Still terrifies me today, really. But I thought, let's do it, book it, do it, sort it out.
Yeah.
Done all these major things that most people would be like, you're nuts. And then I stopped at the end of it and was like, if I'm not careful here, I'm going to kill myself. So let's analyse what am I doing. And again, good at self-reflection. I was like, I'm not happy in my relationship. And I'm trying to feel significant in other places.
Instant gratification from other things.
Yeah, if this is hard, I don't have to think about this. And maybe that's just a good coping mechanism at times when you're going through things, but I realised I need to deal with this now.
Yeah.
And that's no different than, going through a divorce, which is a very, very messy process. Going to Everest Base Camp last year, it was like, well, I can do something harder. And if I can do that, I can definitely do this.
Yeah.
And I've got a list now of all these things I've done that are ridiculously hard that people, isn't it like something like only 1% of people ever run a marathon? And I'm like, I've ran 2 and done all these other things and whatever. I know this is why I back myself so heavily. I can do whatever I want. With the right people around me and the right training and the right setup. It just gives me all the confidence to do what I need to do.
But then again, it's everything you just spoke about had nothing to do with business.
No.
But it's directly impacting business.
Yeah.
Because it's you as a person, and that's the point I want to get across. And these podcasts, it's all right looking at businesses for what they are and the money they make and whatever, but a business isn't a business without either the leader, giving it direction, or just the people behind it in general. Yeah.
So if you think about being a leader, I took on a new sales exec. He was completing our team 2 weeks ago. Let's say he started. It was around 2 weeks ago. And he didn't turn in twice. Recommended by a friend as well and everything. Seemed like a good guy. Seemed to know his stuff a little bit. It's not that he didn't turn in because he had some reasons and whatever. But then listening to what he was saying, I was like, I'm not convinced here. I've dealt with a lot of people in my life and I'm not convinced of this person. And it was on Saturday, just gone. I'd worked the day with him and he tripped himself up on certain things, and I'm like, that now makes what he said yesterday a lie by fact. I was like, I can't work with that. That's a problem. And that's the point where when I'm going home on Saturday and the sun's out and I want to go and have a beer somewhere with my mates, I don't want to put my big boy pants on and deal with it and get rid of him instead. And no different than when we're in work and then everyone's like, okay, he's still got a laptop, are we going to go and get that back off him? Who wants to go and get the laptop back off him? And some people are like, oh, I'll do it. I don't want to do it. And, and I'm like, no, I'll deal with it. I'll go and get it. I'll text them now. I'm going to go and sort it out. Because that's me owning my mistakes, first of all, and taking control and being a leader to the team, knowing that when something uncomfortable needs doing, we just go and do it.
But then what does that trail back to? What you've already spoke about. One of the key values you mentioned before was integrity. Yeah. That's literally backed that whole decision. It was about truth, honesty.
I feel like years ago, that employee there, we would have put up with that for longer. And I said to the team, I'm really proud that we've got rid really fast, because that's a testament to the company we've become today and shows how far we've come from where we were. Yeah. And I like that because we've probably got the best team dynamic between us all that we've ever had. It all clicks, everyone gets on well and whatever else. Really proud of the team, to be honest. It took a long time to get to that.
It definitely pulls you closer, doesn't it? Like the old saying, isn't it? Adversity pulls you closer, like it always does.
Yeah, I think I always get worried that people think I act too fast and I'm too rash and whatever, and I'm like sanity checking myself, like, no, I've got good intentions here. I'm doing everything with good intentions. But the team, at Solo that you don't see on camera so much. They're not as keen on going on camera. It's not because I want to hog it. They're just not that keen on going on camera. They got the day jobs to do and whatever else.
Yeah.
They understand the importance of it though. I've got a really solid team there. We work a lot with, again, honest conversations, managers meetings, 360 feedback reviews. We do all these things that actually increase culture. And again, a lot of it started with me having difficult conversations earlier on with staff.
Yeah. And how do you, when you get to the point now, obviously you're the business owner, probably got so many things sloshing around your head every single day that the team don't have to deal with. But then you're at a point now where you get so much awareness and benefit for the business by being on camera. How would you manage that on a day-to-day? Like, has that been a process, for example, where you had to pull yourself out of the day-to-day operations a little bit to be able to find the time and energy to be on camera? Is it, at any point, has it been a burden? Like, how's that been for you?
Yeah, so that's still a journey that we're working well with, where not so long ago, a couple of months ago maybe, I said to the team, we are going to be propelled into the limelight now more than ever, especially when I hit this go button. It's going to be crazy. We've got to deliver behind the scenes. And I said, what's no good is if I say, I've got a podcast to film today and I'm going to this networking event tonight and I'm meeting this guy tomorrow and I'm, okay, but Jay, the fridge isn't working, what are we going to do? It's like, okay, I've got a management team there. I need you guys, and I was transparent with them. I need you guys to make sure we're doing what we need to do, and I'm going to offer you more control to do that. They're going to empower you to do that. But you have to tell me as well, how do you want it to look like? I've got things, for example, they've had their own little managers meetings without me, which is great. They've dealt with issues without me, which is great. I've got things that I can still see that aren't necessarily how I think they should be getting dealt with. And rather than delivering that this afternoon in the management meeting that I've organised, I'm going to ask them, next time I've got issues like this, how would you like me to communicate them? Or where should I write them? Or do you want to email? Do you want them on the board? Do you want me just to deal with some of them? And just ask them. Because at the end of the day, I can just dictate it if I want. But that doesn't get the best out of people because they've got, it's the whole 5 heads are better than one, isn't it? If I just ask the team, what do you want me to do? They kind of got good answers.
But you can afford to be in that position because you're very clear on your role in the business. Your role in the business is to create opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is awareness, networking, that ultimately leads to more car sales and more cash. That's the job, isn't it?
And I still buy every car. I'm the one who bids every single day on cars.
What's the reason for that? Is that a skill thing? Is it...
It's been a skill thing, but now it's probably, I've got it so nailed on with AI and whatever else, the whole profile of what we buy.
You're going to share your secret now for everyone else to...
There's no secret, but like, for example, people always come into our showroom and they're like, every car you've got's like black or white or grey. And I'm like, yeah, I've seen the data. That's why. I don't want blue. So a blue car earns us just as much money as a black car or a silver car or a white car. But a blue car takes twice as long to sell.
Okay.
That's like our 2 years worth of sold data. That's a fact. The blue car takes twice as long to sell.
What other facts have you got like that we won't be aware of, just as general public?
Not
that you have to share all your secrets, but
cars under 20,000 miles not good value for money for our demographic of what we sell. It doesn't fit our model. If you were buying a car with 20,000 miles on, it's a great car if it's, 2-3 years old. If it's got 10,000 miles on, it's probably not being used enough. And you're going to pay a price for it that doesn't really...
Just like inflated a little bit.
Yeah, when you just buy 20,000 mile one, get a bit better value for money.
So actually, what looks like a negative on the front end, it's actually getting you better value for money.
Yeah, so I've stripped everything back to profit per day, per space. So I can, any car, because you've got to think, obviously, some you earn more than others. You've got to work out what earns the most profit per day and how should we shape that whole stock profile. There's some of the big industry leaders that I've spoke with recently, and I've got a conference in 2 weeks to speak to some more of them, that have nailed this on, like uploading 3 months worth of phone call data in to find out where we've won our customers, where we've lost our customers, and using AI just to pin everything down and be, not to do everything for you, but to give you really good insight. And when it's giving me these things, I'm like, that makes sense, that makes sense, that makes sense.
You just connect it, you've seen it in real life, but now the data sort of backs it.
Yeah, so... I'm leading with that, and I'm so excited where, people always talk about having big stretch goals and whatever else, and I'm like, we need to sell 90 cars a month, every single month, and it's not a stretch goal. It's an obvious goal that I know when I press the button I'm going to be able to do.
Question for you then, business owner to business owner. If you come across a month where you have not sold 90 cars, what, in your experience, or what would be the first things that you would go to as, I think this might be down to X, Y, Z? What would be the reasons why you would not sell them cars?
Why we wouldn't hit the numbers. Well, first of all, I wouldn't come up with the reason. I'd ask the team.
Okay.
I'd want their insight first. I'd have my own opinions, but then I'd want their insight. Ask them why we've not sold the cars. Most of the time, it's because we've not bought enough. That's most of it.
So you didn't have the stock there to sell them?
Yeah. I would ask the team, but then it's just figuring out exactly what them reasons were. What can we do to mitigate them in the future? And what might that look like?
What are the external factors to that then? So you mentioned one factor is that you didn't have enough cars in stock. So that's an internal, I would put that as an internal factor, something you can control. Is there anything that you've learned in business that would cause you not to sell enough that you can't control?
Yeah,
external factors.
So October, November, December are traditionally always our quietest months.
Okay.
We've never once in our 18 years had a good month in December because it's impossible. Yeah. So we now close half of December because it makes sense.
I've seen you say something about this. Have you said something about this?
Maybe.
On socials, I'm sure you have.
Yeah, it's just that there are quiet months.
What it is the Sunday. You're not open on a Sunday, are you?
No.
That's what I've seen.
Post-COVID, no Sundays. Most of our team have got families or they got houses to decorate or, I don't know, they want to go out for a beer on a Saturday night. They can have some proper
You're already working Saturdays, aren't you? So does everyone work 6 days a week?
5. Only 5. No one works 6. Only works 5.
So what days do they not work, or is it just interchange? Like a rota?
Like a rota. We've a set rota, but still 5 days. Won't let anyone work more than 5 days now.
Okay.
Whereas, like, again, back in the day to my 20s, and I'm doing like 6 weeks non-stop every single day for 6 weeks. Some 12-hour days, but again, I was learning, I was growing, and it's all in there now. I know it all. That's
you're earning your stripes, aren't you? That's kind of...
Yeah, I seen a quote that said, like, if you're in your 20s and people are telling you you're working too hard, then you're hanging around with the wrong people.
You know what? This is something that I've actually always spoke to, like, my parents a lot about, because, or even still now, like, I feel like there's this... everyone's seen the surface level, like you said before, aren't they? Oh, you must be doing well because of this and this and this, seen on social media or whatever. And for years, even now, I'll get told, oh, you shouldn't be doing that anymore. I'm like, why? I've been in business for 7 years. I'm nothing. I'm still at the start. I'm still on step 1. Like, there's people and be like, you're already double, if not nearly triple, like how long I've been in business. And it all comes down to earning your stripes, doesn't it? And no one can really decide or understand how much along that journey you are other than you yourself. I can only decide myself, do I feel like I'm in a position where I should take my foot off the gas a little bit or slow down a little bit? Sometimes life happens and it happens naturally, but the reason why I'm saying that is because I think I've been through the same experience as you. Like, people probably say to you all the time, why are you still in the office on a Saturday morning? Why are you still in at 10 p.m? Why are you still doing this? Why are you still doing that? You own this business, you making this money and all that, and it just doesn't work like that, does it?
No, and it's understanding your industry with that journey where, so like, look at the car sales market. I know the biggest car companies in Liverpool that are bigger than us or the surrounding areas, they're all owned by people that are nearly twice my age. So I'm like, okay, I'm only at this point in my journey. I could go to one of them and they'll know the answer to every single problem I've got. But I'd never ask them because it's part of my journey. It's part of the learning. I'll try and give value and buy respect from them at times and just show them who I really am. And it's just important to remember that on the journey. Like, you know, I know again, several of them, they've got houses worth 5 million, 10 million pound and all these things. That is what they've earned through putting their stripes in. They've give their 30s and 40s and 50s away.
To it all.
I haven't done all of that yet.
So important. It's like that old saying, isn't it? Comparing your page 1 to, or chapter 1 to someone's chapter 10 or something like that. That type of...
And it makes me content with where I'm at.
Yeah.
And it also, that's part of me then when I say I stop and reflect. And I get to my apartment of a night and I look outside the window and I look over the River Mersey and the Liver buildings and I sit there and go, what a life I've got. Like,
this is exactly what you just spoke about there, is exactly what I mentioned before about understanding the actual things that you want in life that actually make you happy. That some of them might be something financial or something like a material thing, a house, a car, or whatever. But and that's fine, whatever it is. But it's actually understanding, unless you do the work to understand actually what you want in life, it's really hard to be happy.
Yeah, no.
How can you be happy when you don't know what makes you happy?
I think experiences make me happy, good and bad, because the bad ones sometimes bring you close together as well. Going through something really good or something really bad and then looking someone in the eyes and be like, okay, we got through that. That was good. That
100%.
That is so. I don't know if that's everyone, but that's like really valuable to me.
I don't
feel
think
that
it is.
inside.
I feel like stuff from my personal life, our journey over the past 2 years, and with Jade now, and in our relationship, I said from the start, it's always honesty. And you mentioned like hard conversations early and stuff like that. That's the foundation of everything. And we talk about this all the time, where you have some adversity or a struggle or a misalignment on something, and you guarantee that I would even at this point say that when you come out of like a misalignment or a disagreement or a new learning, the negative ones pull you closer than the positive ones. It's not that the positive ones aren't important, because they are, of course. It needs to balance out some way. But I've always felt that when you come out of adversity, there's something about, like you've just said, being able to look that person in the eye, whether it's someone in your business, whether it's your partner, whoever, and that connection of going, we did that together. Like we could have avoided that and buried our head, but we didn't.
And I think that's where the integrity bit comes in, though, because like, let's say if you said now, Jay, I've got a room over here full of people that absolutely hate what you do or hate who you are, I'd be like, okay, let's go and have a chat with them, because I know I've got nothing to hide, not a bad bone in my body. Let's go and have that chat, and you can be more honest when you know you're a good person, because there's nothing to hide. And it's like the whole lying thing and whatever. It's like, I'm pretty sure liars have a hard time remembering what they've said. I'm like, I don't have to lie. So I
think a lot of that is tied into like validation and things like that as well. There's so much, honestly. Again, we could probably do 3 episodes, I would say. Your personal life, business, and then probably personal development are probably 3 different episodes.
Yeah, and that's where maybe just doing well in the COVID years and, post separation and whatever else, maybe I'm just in a place now where I can be a bit more myself.
Yeah.
And maybe you've got to go through all that, so you don't, the people who haven't got them skills, lucky them.
Yeah, I think you do, 100%. To be honest, I think that's something we can finish on. I think we flew through that. What time are we on, Jack?
56.
56, nearly bang on.
Nice.
Just before we go, you've touched a lot about about personal development and things, which I kind of thought you would from what I felt from your content and things. Give the audience one tip now. If I'm sat here listening to this podcast and I've listened to the story and I want to start a business, I've heard everything that you've just said about personal brand, building a business, building a team, divorce, all these things. What's your first step that you would recommend they do?
Go and get in as many communities, spaces as you can, and remember that old saying of you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Go and give your idea and listen to what people say. Doesn't mean they're right, but go and listen and soundboard yourself out. That kind of just ties back into surrounding yourself with really, really good people.
Incredible. We'll finish on that.
Cool.
Thanks for being on.
Oh, thank you for having me.